Hello. I've got a lesson that I want to share with you, and its purpose is to help free up some areas of your spine. So maybe you know how important your spine is, maybe not, but it's a really important part of our skeleton. And if it's not free to move easily, then it puts a lot of extra stress on the rest of our body. And it's actually very common for people to have stuckness, places of their spine which are immobile, unable to move properly, or rotate, or flex, or extend. So I'm going to share with you some movements which will help to free up this portion in particular, the part of your spine between the base of your neck and your lumbar spine. So the part where the curve changes. So it's the part of your spine which has got ribs attached to it. So this is going to be really good for you if if you want to improve your posture without having to think about sitting up straight or pulling your shoulders back all the time. Doing these movements will help you find a more aligned posture without the effort. It's just going to happen naturally. It's really good for pain relief. If you are in pain, it's probably a part of your spine which is stuck. And freeing up your spine can really help all the rest of the areas of your body. It's going to help you with all of your movements. So if you are someone who sits in their chair a lot at work, doing desk work, then it's going to be a lot easier just to be sitting and moving around in your chair. And these movements are also done sitting down, so something that you can quite easily do at your desk. So let me show you what we're going to do. First of all, that's right. Let me talk about the chair. I'm sitting on a drum. You don't need a drum, but you do need a chair of some kind. And best is if it's flat. So if you've got a hard surface here, or quite firm, and it needs to be flat, you don't want it tilted backwards or forwards, because that's going to really tilt your pelvis backwards or your pelvis forwards, and that's going to make it difficult. So you want something flat. You also want something that's the right height for your body, something where your hip can be higher than your knee. So you don't want something where you're crunched up like this, like a really low chair, or you don't want one so high that your feet are not able to touch the floor. You really want to be solid, grounded on the floor. Yes. So to get started, we're going to actually do a little test. And the test is something that we're going to do at the end as well. And we're going to see if anything has changed. So let's look to one side. You could just imagine you're sitting at a desk or something and you're looking off over to the left. And just notice how far you can turn easily. And also maybe notice which part of yourself is stopping you from going further. So maybe there's a part of your back or your neck or something which is making it difficult to go beyond what you can. So you don't have to change it, just notice how far it is. You can go to about there really easily. And then try the other side and see what that's like. See, my spine doesn't turn as easily this way. It's harder. Yeah, and I can feel it's my ribcage on this side that starts to contract a little bit, and that's what stops me from going further easily. And don't worry if you can't feel it, just notice how far you can go. Simply that. Okay. And we'll see if it's changed at the end. Okay, the movements. Let's do a self-hug. So you're going to put the left hand on your right shoulder and the right hand underneath that one. So both your elbows are in the middle. And then you're going to do a movement of pointing your elbows up towards the ceiling and then down towards the floor. And then keep doing those movements nice and slowly. And just notice how far you can go easily again. And notice your lower back. What happens in your lower back when you do this? Can you feel any kind of arching movement? In your middle back? What does your middle back do? And what about right up in your upper back? How does that part of yourself move when you do this? Make sure you're looking up with your eyes and your head when you go up as well. So your elbows and your head are kind of like one unit. Yeah, okay, I'll take a rest. So this is called Feldenkrais, and it's working with your nervous system to change your movement habits. And the way we do that is by paying attention with our senses. So that's why I'm asking you things about your back. Like, how do you feel your back moving? And how far can you go easily? And I'll ask you some other questions as well as we go along. So let's swap arms. So the right arm is on top now. And we do the same movement. And see what it's like when your arms are crossed this way. And I want you to feel your pelvis. So you've got this big bone in here, which is your pelvis. And you'll be able to feel, when people say put your hands on your hips, that's actually your pelvis. And you'll be able to feel, if you can push your belly forwards and your lower back arches, that your pelvis actually rocks forward a little bit. And you'll be able to feel that if you have your hands there. So do this little movement, your pelvis rocks forwards and backwards. You can pull it right back, roll it back, and forwards. So what we're looking for is, can you feel that movement while we're doing this? I can feel my pelvis rolls backwards as I go down. And then it rocks forwards as I look up to the ceiling. Yeah. Okay, that's enough. We'll take a rest. So with this type of work, it's really crucial to rest in between the movements. It just allows all of that information that you've been paying attention to begin to integrate, and you'll make improvements just by doing nothing. It's pretty cool, really. So we'll go back to that original way of crossing your arms. And instead of having your elbows rested down this time, you're going to point them forwards like this. And then do a movement of turning to the left and go off to the side. Just as far as what's really, really easy. Super easy. Don't force it at all. So you're actually pointing with your elbows and your head is following. Your head's going in the same direction. And you're only doing the one side. So back to the center and then off to the left again. Now pay attention to what your pelvis is doing now. Can you feel it moving at all? Or have you got it anchored to the seat? Just notice what you do. And in fact, if you are moving your pelvis, try anchoring it. Just have it like stuck to the seat and then try and turn and see what that feels like. And then try again while allowing the right side of your pelvis to kind of scoot forward on the chair a little bit. Just notice if that makes it any easier. It does for me. Okay. And take another break. Just notice your posture, the way as you sit there. Just what can you notice about it? How does your head feel? Is it well balanced? Off to one side or looking down? How relaxed do your shoulders feel? Just pay attention, you don't have to change anything. Okay, let's cross over again. I think I had my right on top. No, I had my left on top. Left on top. And then let's turn the opposite direction. Again, keeping your head and your elbows in line. So this is like one unit. Just going as far as what's easy. And bringing in the other side of your pelvis. So your left buttock and knee kind of scoot forwards. And that can actually help you turn, make it easier. Just go nice and easy. So you really want to do this in a range of movement where it's really easy to breathe. So if you're going right to your limit, then it means that you're going to be engaging some real patterns of resistance and your breath is going to be interrupted. You're going to hold it in some way. So you just want to stick with this really simple, like, easy movement. And that's going to give your brain signals that everything's nice and safe. And then things will start to let go. So by doing less, you actually get more. Okay, one more time. Take another break. And this time we'll cross over the right on top, left underneath. And we're going to go both directions now. So start turning to the left. And then the right. And keeping your pelvis nice and alive. Feel how the left buttock moves forwards and the left knee moves forwards. And come back to the center. And the other buttock and knee move forwards. Okay, here's the next trick. Just take a break there. So this time you're going to keep your head and eyes facing forwards. So just pick a point on the wall in front of you and bring your elbows up. And then you're going to keep your elbows turning to the left, but your head is going to stay in the center. And then come back through to the right. So this is doing something quite different in your spine. And just notice how it feels different. And notice if it's difficult to coordinate. And if it is, just go really slowly. You don't need to rush this. And pay attention, are you still using your pelvis to help you turn? Okay, and then in a moment, allow your head to come back into the movement. And notice, did that get any easier? Did that make it any easier to turn now that your head's free again? Did for me. And just a few more times. Okay, that's enough. Just notice your breathing. Maybe listen for the parts of yourself where you can feel your breath moving your body. I can feel on my chest, the belly, under my arms here, it's moving. Okay, do one last movement and cross your arms over left over right again, and we start with the elbows down. We're going to do this arcing movement. So you're going to point your elbows off to the left and then curve them upwards at the same time. So you're going to go up, nice and slow, and then down, come back through the middle, and then up on the other side. So you're drawing this big U shape with your elbows. And being aware of the way that your pelvis moves again. And allowing your head to look up at the ceiling. And we'll just quickly swap over and do the other side as well. Just see what that's like. Okay, that's enough. Right, so now let's test if anything has changed. So pop your hands on your knees and we just turn to the left. And for me, that's gotten a lot easier. I can feel that more of my spine is involved with turning. It's like my whole spine is turning when I turn instead of just my neck. Yeah, and that side feels a lot easier too. But just notice what you feel. Does it feel any easier? What sensations are there in your body right now? Maybe you could notice what your breathing feels like. Is there any difference in your breathing? So we've really been working with this ribcage area and loosening everything up through there. So it would make sense that you might feel different through your ribcage and your breath. What are the things you think of usually when you think of your posture? Is it your shoulders or your head or your chest or your spine? How are you sitting now and what does your posture feel like? Without doing anything in particular, just notice the way that you're sitting. And has that changed at all? And does it feel any easier to sit there? And maybe if you're someone who works at a desk, you could imagine doing a few things at the desk or actually do it. Picking up a phone over there or doing some typing over here. How does it feel to kind of move around on your chair now? Is there any more ease in your movement? Yeah. So that was a really short and simple lesson, and it's just an example of the type of work that I do. And hopefully you'll find that over the next few hours as you move around, just, well, pay attention and just notice if anything feels different about it, whether it feels easier or lighter in some way, and just, yeah, just see what's there. And hope you enjoyed that, and see you again soon.